Haunted Mansion is out this weekend, guys. And did you go out and see it? I did, and I gotta tell you, my reaction was a little bit mixed when I saw it. I saw good value in here. I saw that there was good acting. This movie, surprisingly, had some good acting in it. So, the new Haunted Mansion movie from Disney. A single mom named Gabby hires a tour guide, a psychic and a priest, and a historian to help exorcise her newly bought mansion after discovering it is inhabited by ghosts. Keith Stanfield is the photographer, and he plays it fairly well. In fact, this is the best I've ever seen him. Rosario Dawson's the mother, Owen Wilson's the priest, Tiffany Haddish is the psychic, Jamie Lee Curtis is the floating orb in the head that we've seen. But Danny DeVito also was a standout in this. Guys, if you liked Mars Attacks, you guys remember Mars Attacks, where DeVito was kind of like that, cut up kind of character that was like loud and bombastic. He's like that in this. And if you liked him in that, then you're going to like him in Haunted Mansion. What was the scare factors here? Was it scary? I think some younger kids may get scared by some of the imagery in this. Like, I mean, the ghosts, they are ghosts, right? But it's nothing too scary, at least in my opinion. But I'm a veteran of watching the horror genre. Like, I'm sure like this lady here could have been scary. And the main foe, this guy played by Jared Leto, I'm sure could also have been a little bit scary. There's Jamie Lee Curtis. She's like a psychic from the past that gets stuck in that crystal ball that we've seen. Crump is the name, Jared Leto. I liked parts of this film, but it was just too long. 2 hours was way too long, and it was a little bit muddled in its storytelling. When I came out, I said that this was, it failed in its execution of the story because they would take side missions where it'd be kind of like, okay, we're stopping the story now to tell you this little back piece of the story. And then when you watch it, you're kind of like, that didn't really add anything to the story. And by the way, here's a commercial for McDonald's, right? That's what they do, literally. Like, if you remember in that Transformers movie where Mark Wahlberg falls off the truck or something, and he just picks up a bottle of some beer, and then he takes a drink of it. It's like that kind of product placement in this movie. And you're like, for God's sakes, have you no shame? Shame on you, Disney. Hey, I like Burger King, but I mean, come on. This is hardly the time or the place to be talking about jalapeno poppers. But if you're a fan of the ride, if you would like the trailers, then I think you will probably like this movie. But if you're looking for something a little bit more edgy, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is going to deliver. So let's go over the tomato meter and see what people are saying. 41% by critics, 85 by the audience. So people are liking it better than the critics. Now, I'm not as low as the critics, but I'm definitely not nowhere near as high as the audience. But it makes me happy that the audiences are reacting to it because, as I said, Keith Stanfield here, he does a good job. And the kid, this kid, there's a scene in it where, he also is like, where you'll be like, wait a minute, that's surprisingly good acting from this young kid. Kudos, you got to give him a thumbs up. Then Danny DeVito's playing that eccentric character. So let's see what some of the snapshot reviews are and see if we agree with them. Richard Roper liked it, said, some actors are silly while some keep it real, but all work overtime to give their viewers a good time. Yeah, and there were a lot of Easter eggs to the ride. I was like, oh, I recognize that, the ballroom with all the ghosts floating around and stuff like that. The chairs with the big back that come up around you and stuff like that. The pictures that look at you as they walk by. I recognize all that stuff, right? So that's there. That was kind of cool. Somebody else who liked it. Boston Globe. I went into Haunted Mansion expecting a hot mess on par with Murphy's movie. Instead, I found an engaging and sweet action comedy, one that's not only very funny, but also quite touching. Yes, there was a storyline in here where the kid's father had died, but um, Lakeith Stanfield, let's see if we can pull up his poster here, um, is the photographer who lost his wife. So um, there's a subject of death there that bonds them. But I think if it was handled with a better director crafting that story, it just felt like here are the storylines, here are the scenes that have to be in the film. It didn't feel like it was together in a cohesive, like engaging manner. And I believe that the director, I think that this is maybe his first kick at can at this big of a project. Let's just take a look at Justin Simeon here. It wasn't awful. Don't get me wrong here. It wasn't a terrible effort. So yeah, he's done some previous stuff here. Dear White People TV show, Bad Hair. So he has done stuff. So some shorts. He was working up to this big kind of budgeted kind of thing. Unfortunately, due to its big budget, this Haunted Mansion movie was around 145 million budget wise. And if we go over to the box office for its opening weekend, it opened into the third spot, 24.2 domestically, 9 internationally, for a worldwide total of 33.3 on a $145 million budget. It is not going to be making its money back anytime soon, because next week we got TMNT coming out, and we have Meg 2, and Barbenheimer is still destroying it. So Haunted Mansion is from Disney is going to come. It's going to go. Very few people are going to talk about it. The people that did go out and see it, according to the tomato meter, really liked it. But I'm a little bit more on the critic side on this one, guys. It just gets a little bit muddled for my taste. It had the right ingredients. Yeah, that's the way that I like to say it. Haunted Mansion had all the right ingredients. It just it just towards the end there with all the CGI and stuff, it got a little bit hokey. And then it had that backbone of the death of the father and the wife there, and then some weird backstory with Owen Wilson. It was like, was that necessary to put that in? Yeah, there's too much of that, and that's why my score is not going to be quite as low as 4.1, not as high as 8.5. For Haunted Mansion, I would have to give it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, 6 out of 10 for Haunted Mansion, guys. Um, I wish I could say something more positive about it. Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson's fine. Hey, the movie opens up great because you know how you watch those scary movies and they're like, oh, there's ghosts in here. And then they're like, let's go to sleep anyway. No, they get out of there. Like, you know how you see some of the reactors watch the horror movies and they're like, get out of there, just leave, move. That's what happens in the beginning of this movie, right? That's why they go out to get the priest, the psychic, and the photographer, right? That's why they go out and do that. So that all makes sense. The set pieces in here, the production design was good. Like, as I said, it had all the ingredients. It needed to be tighter. It needed to be like an hour and 40 minutes or so. There will be a point in the theater or in the movie where you will look at your watch and be like, we still got 20 minutes to go. What's going on here? Right? Or you'll be like, these types of movies need to be shorter. They need to be 90 minutes. And you'd be like, but we're spending all this money on it. Well, then don't spend so much money on it. Make it a 90-minute film. Cut out some of the big set pieces. Work with the actors and craft out acting, because it's scenes of people talking that people will resonate more to. Very few scenes, unless you're like Matrix with bullet time, or Star Wars with the pod race scene, or like those sequences, or Avatar when you see like the big whale scene underneath the water and stuff like that. Like, very few scenes have that caliber of like visual effects where you gotta be like, oh, you gotta check it out because of this. Most of the time, it is going to be the dramatic parts. And as I said, Lakeith Stanfield does a great job in this. Tiffany Haddish was hamming it up. She was a little too hammy. But a good example of hammy acting from Danny DeVito kept you engaged. He just, yeah, and you know it. You know when you see him in the first scene that he's going to do something really cool in this. Daniel Levi, I don't know. Jamie Lee Curtis showing up was kind of cool too, and then Jared Leto as the bad guy. Um, he had voice modulation on there, so it was kind of didn't quite work. And if I haven't said it before, what's up with the shape of this candle? It's obscene. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Haunted Mansion. What did you guys see? Did you go out and see it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and we will talk about it. You're watching Mirror Domains. Next up, we will be talking about Talk to Me, where something truly audacious towards the end of that film happens, and I'll let you know how it made me react to it in the next review. See you next time here on Mirror Domains. Hope the audio is much better now, guys. As I said, if I cut these out later and the audio is not going to be usable, I'll have to re-record it on my own and post it up there. All right, so Talk to Me. Any spoiler word? No, there's not really that much spoilerish talk about Haunted Mansion. Yeah, there's that scene from the ride, and yeah, these chairs kind of like look like the chairs that you ride in the actual ride, with the big background. So yeah, not many spoilers in here. It's just like, ooh, I got an idea of how we can. So they just take time to go to the police station to get the sketch artist to make this gag, like, and the gag takes too long, right? To get to this gag, we know that it's coming because we've seen it here in the trailer. I don't know, man. It's obviously not going to do well, right? I know the people that are watching it liked it, but people who saw Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible also liked it, and look how those are performing, right? This kind of sucks. It sucks, man. All right, let's get this